Alright, we're good to go. Alright, here we go. Muscular System Study Guide for Thursday's test. A lot of these questions will be similar. All will be slightly different. So here we go. We got to identify the functions of the muscular system, provide examples of each in the body. So hopefully you can identify the functions first before doing these. So what are your functions? Alright, we've got provide movement attached to the skeletal system. We've got help move food through passages. We have provides an opening and closing to the orifices of the body, aka sphincters. They help control heat in the body. So those are some of your functions of the muscular system. So if these describe one of those, it's true. If none of those is described here, it's false. I lied to you. So alright, right off the bat, maintain calcium homeostasis in the blood. Right off the bat, we have a lie. That is false. That is a function of your skeletal system. Alright, your muscles use the calcium, but they're not responsible for maintaining the homeostasis. Your bones do that. Your osteoclasts, osteocytes, that fun stuff. Constrict blood vessels. That is true. That is smooth movement of materials. Help maintain a heartbeat. Now, that's important. That would be true. That would be your main function of cardiac muscle. Alright, which we won't get into a whole lot. We're basically skeletal muscle dominant in here. Is that right? Produce red blood cells for the body. Muscles are red, right? Only if they're high in myoglobin. True. But this is false. Once again, this would be part of your skeletal system. Your bone marrow does red blood cell production. Stores extra glucose. That is true. A little tricky one there. I probably won't test you on that. I didn't get into it as much as I probably should. Glucose is stored as glycogen in skeletal muscle. Assist food through the digestive tract. Oh yeah, peristalsis all the way. Hopefully you know that word, peristalsis. Supports the spinal cord. Yup, sure does. Those muscles in your back. Okay, the one that I'm doing, erector spinae. Right, it can cause things like scoliosis and if those muscles waste away and can't save lives. Muscular dystrophy. Okay, the breaking down of the muscles can cause spinal cord imbalances. Create nerve impulses for the body. That is false. They do not create them. They receive them. And good old moving the tibia. That is true. That's one function of a skeletal muscle. Hopefully you can provide me examples of muscles that move the tibia. So hopefully I stimulated that thought. If you said humerus, you're wrong twice, because humerus is a bone, not a muscle, and it doesn't have anything to do with moving the tibia. It's in the arm. So, all right. That would be a good answer. Rectus femoris. What's that? Hamstring. All right. Differentiate between the functions of skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle. All right. So now we want to label as either smooth, cardiac, skeletal, or more than one. I think this is very similar to a quiz we did earlier in the unit. It's voluntary, which means can be controlled at your own whim. Let's see. Smooth muscle. Well, see, some of these are like, we just want to go with the general one here. Now, if you write in a margin, if you say, let's say, skeletal, you put skeletal. That's the real answer here. You probably can't see me, but I am voluntarily moving my arm. I'm contracting my skeletal muscle. I wish I had a little, cam here so you could actually see this. It's pretty cool. Mr. I-Bling, can't you sometimes control your sphincters? And that's smooth. Yeah, it's almost always a involuntary muscle. There's that one muscle that you can, when you got to go to the bathroom real bad and you got to hold it, you're constricting your sphincter. So If you wrote that into the margins for me, of course, I'm a nice guy. I'm not a real hard line. There's exceptions to almost everything in science. Well, at least in the biological processes, there's a lot. Would be attached to tendons. Okay, so you should be thinking, tendons do what? They attach muscle to bone. Don't mix it up with ligament, which is bone to bone. So that would be skeletal muscle. Boom. Makes up most of the heart. I really can't come up with a lot of other choices for cardiac muscle here. So that's obviously cardiac. We'll do a heart cardiac unit later in the year. We got brain, then we got lungs, then we got heart. Cannot be regulated by choice. So what am I basically saying? Involuntary. So which is involuntary? It's basically the opposite of the voluntary. So we got smooth. Some people say they might be able to control their dilations of their blood vessels. That'd be amazing. I think Dwight Schrute from The Office claims to be able to do so. It's really not very accurate. And also cardiac. That's probably a bad idea if we had the ability to regulate our heart by choice. It seems like it could be bad. Would be found lined in the intestines. All right, what is that? That is muscle that's moving food through it. So that is smooth muscle. Would be attached to the femur. Femur is a bone. What type attaches to a bone? That is skeletal. Good job, everybody. All right. Contains primarily type 1 and type 2 fibers. Ooh. Well, we've learned that skeletal muscles have 3 different types of fibers. These are 2 of them. So that is skeletal. Skeletal. And that's handwriting is somewhat illegible, but hopefully you can hear me talking. That's the key here. Ooh, what do we got? We got a picture of a stomach. Okay, and if you take anatomy in college, you have to label all the parts of the stomach. All of them. Your fundus, that was always my favorite, the fundus. You guys have to label a few for me in the digestive unit, nothing too crazy. All right, so what do we see? The pyloric sphincter. That is right here, I just circled it. Type of muscle tissue. That's a sphincter that is controlling what food. So when you eat, draw it here in blue, you get all this food and it fills up your gut. Okay? And the fuller your stomach gets, the more of a signal, hormonal control, it's hormones, going to send a signal to this pyloric sphincter to open up. The pyloric sphincter stays closed until your stomach fills up. When it fills up and it's properly digested, and it's got to sit in your stomach for a while, it doesn't want to send in like all this chunks of food and stuff to your intestine. It's going to break it down, hydrochloric acid. We'll do that later. Pyloric sphincter opens. That is a smooth muscle. You probably thinking, Mr. I-Bling, just say smooth. No, explanations are important. Describe what its function would be. So what would this pyloric sphincter do? It would control what stays in the stomach and what leaves the stomach. So it controls this area right here. I'm not going to write that in. I'm just going to talk, and I think you have ears, I'm assuming. I would have been notified if you had none or missing one. All right, we just dominated 2 targets. How's it feel? Feels good. Identify the organization of a skeletal muscle to include belly. We got to scroll over. Oh, I got belly, fiber, fascicle, and myofibril. Okay, so hopefully you can draw from scratch all of these. I may just ask you to do that. Okay, so I say draw all of these and label them. All right, so want me to just do that real fast? Well, it's down here. Let me just label it. The entire bicep would be considered which of the following? Okay, so the entire bicep, that's really as big as it's going to get. For some of us, there's bigger biceps than others. That is your muscle belly. Muscle belly. Hold on, I'm going to pause it for a second. I got to talk to Caitlin. Hold on. All right, is this thing rolling again? It is. Wow, we just fast forwarded in time. Pretty amazing. It is now almost 5 o'clock, and it was like what? Oh, I don't know, 9 o'clock. So craziness. No, 10 o'clock probably. All right, label the following diagram with these terms: muscle, fiber, tendon, endomysium. You don't have to do endomysium. You don't do epimysium. You don't do perimysium. Okay. So just focus on what is in my learning target. Cool. Fascicle. Fascia is the, let's see if you know, epi, outside. Endo means like in, enter, in. Epi means on the outside. Okay, all right, so anyway, let's go ahead and, well, we can just, this isn't listed, but hopefully you know what that is. That is a tendon. All right. Sorry, that is a tendon. Oh, and you know what I'm going to do? Hold on, 1 second. Did that do anything? No, it didn't flip. Let's see if I could flip it. Anyway, tendon. All right, we've got, I think it's actually easier to start small and kind of maybe go big here. So we've got our smallest, which is our myofibril. All right, myofibril. And myofibrils, okay, make up a muscle fiber. So, I mean, don't get too freaky about what's it pointing at. Like, as long as you know what you're looking at, okay, I'll make sure on the test it's clear. Study guides, I don't really worry about it as being as clear, because I'm not really assessing it. So this structure is a fiber, a muscle fiber. And then what makes up what a bunch of muscle fibers make up. So this whole thing here, this structure with all these little dots in them, those are your muscle fibers. That is a fascicle. So this right here would be a fascicle. So what's the best arrow to point at? You know, it's easier to just circle and put fascicle, so I'm not going to try to decipher. It's easier to do it that way. The whole belly. This looks like a belly. Get in my muscle belly. And then surrounding the whole thing is your fascia. Okay, so like your fascia would be this outer layer right here. All right, got to stretch out that fascia. All right, nothing too crazy there. Hopefully we got that down by now. It's like the 20th time we've done that. Describe and diagram how skeletal muscle contracts at the sarcomere level to include actin and myosin. Okay, and I just kind of lumped that into, I think there's a good picture at the actually bottom that goes over target 4. For some reason, I just couldn't get it in there. It just was not cooperating. Oh, look at these boxes. They all end up all over the place sometimes on this app. So we're going to talk about contraction and neuromuscular junctions, again, at the same time, because they're so closely involved. It's like talking about spaghetti sauce and spaghetti at the same time. You know, you don't have to do them separately. They are so closely related, and they go well with each other, like science and Salmonok. Anyway, all right, right yes or no if it would result in a contraction, right no if it would not. Acetylcholine is broken down. Oh, my goodness. We are breaking down acetylcholine. So if you watch me right now, my muscle is relaxing. You see that? My muscle is relaxing, which means that acetylcholine was broken down to relax my muscle. So that would be a no. How would we make it to a yes? Answer this right now. Answer this before I even speak. Answer. How could I turn this into a yes? Hopefully you were thinking is bound to a muscle receptor. Right. Calcium binds to actin. Yes, so let me just draw a little mini sarcomere. I might have you guys make a model on your test. How's that sound? Anyway, so we've got our myosin, okay, and our actin. Okay. Now they're not always bound, so when they do bind, whoa, I am contracting my muscle. Go ahead and you can tell what this way is oriented. It's gonna pull it this way, and then this sarcomere, okay, myosin's pointing that way, it's going to attach, pull this way, and now my sarcomere is shorter, all right, and these are all tight together with a little line in the middle. Okay, so this is relaxed. Why am I doing that? Why don't I do this? There we go. This is relaxed, this is contracted. So calcium binds to actin. I didn't even answer that, did I? No, I didn't. So how do we get to go from this to this? Well, on your actin is a receptor, and when calcium is bound to it, Ca+, this causes it to change shape and bind. So this is a yes. Actin is bound to myosin. Oh yeah. Okay, that is a definite yes. That is really the definition of a contraction, is when actin is bound to myosin. Well, it's a definition, but it's a big part. I can't even see what's underneath that box. Hold on, let me see if I can move this thing. Nothing. Can I grab that little box? What's under there? Action, craziness, action potential releases acetylcholine. I'm hoping that's what it says. I'm going to assume that. Action potential, I should get the study guide I just have in front of me. I might have to do that. I might take a little pause. Action potential Releases acetylcholine. Yes. Okay, so here's our myofibril